That's gotta be him.
But this one's a she. Remember, beards are no indicator of gender amongst dwarves.
아 맞다. 드워프는 여자도 수염이 나죠?
A dwarf, but the hands. Not a carpenter's. A banker's, more likely. Calluses on the fingers, sawdust in the beard, clothes sticky with sap. Must
야
be
그럼
a
잠깐
dwarf.
저 드워프가 여자면 설마
I trust
아니
you don't grow weak in the knees at the sight of blood.
Not a bit.
아 상체 노출인가요?
The
아
autopsy.
아니죠. 남자 드워프입니다.
Let's look at his head. Hair smells like it's burnt. Like he was in a fire.
수염이 있잖아요.
Notice anything else? That his eyes have been scooped out, for instance?
Those burn marks I see in his eye sockets.
Yes. And some grey dust. Ash, it seems. Very fine.
Murderer gouged out his eyes, then put burning coals in the
헐,
sockets.
불붙은 석탄을 넣어?
So it seems. Looking at the wounds, it appears our woodcarver was still
저
alive when it
배가 더
happened.
잘 나와서 모르겠죠.
Let's examine the mouth. Burns, blisters.
Just like Priscilla's.
See this? Incision made into the voice box.
Indeed, so thin as to be nearly unnoticeable.
A small, extremely sharp instrument. Scalpel.
But why? The wound is too small to bleed, and there are signs of swelling. The murderer... I believe he performed a tracheotomy, so the victim wouldn't die too soon.
Let's examine his torso.
What have we here? Deep wound on the left side of his rib cage, and a scar the length of his stomach.
Let's examine the chest wound. Yeah, heart carved out. Wound cauterized.
Wait a minute, there's something else.
뭐야 너 손 화살 뭐야? 이분 무슨 버그죠?
An egg from an amphibian. A salamander? Scorched but intact.
I attended some lectures in herpetology as a student. Afraid I don't recall any amphibians that would
헐
lay eggs
시체에
in corpses.
알까지 넣어? 아니
So
진짜
either
악질이네.
Professor Cochrane was deeply mistaken, or this is our murderer's doing.
Look at the scar. Wounds long and thin. An incision. But the edges are ragged.
Means nothing. Look, no swelling, no bruises. An old injury, perhaps an accident in the workplace.
Open the abdominal cavity.
A due warning, it will stink of rot.
응
Once fought a
게임이라서
zoo
난
up to
냄새
my
못
waist in
맡는다네.
sewage, so I doubt. Wait. Smells not rot.
포르말데이드?
A medical novelty. Heavily diluted, it's remarkable at preserving organic tissue. In stronger proportions, it's more destructive than acid.
Explains why there's no smell of decay, and why his throat's scalded. Look at his hands. These welts. Rope burns, right? He was tied up.
어우
I'd expect so. No one could sit through such torture unless bound.
Speaking from experience.
Yes, that of a victim. Spent a year in the dungeons of Tretogor. Long story.
Some other time, maybe. See the callus? Our dwarf wore a ring, but someone took it off him.
다리.
See anything interesting on his legs?
His right foot. The ankle swollen, toenails broken. He clearly kicked something very hard. Right before he kicked the bucket.
Doesn't strike me as the right time for jokes.
Apologies. We surgeons, we've a different sensibility.
And a different sense of humor.
여기 확인해도 되는 건가?
His genitals. We ought to inspect those.
I sincerely doubt they bear any relation to the matter.
보면 알겠지.
We'll see. Pull down his trousers and... shit.
Syphilis, actually.
Oh, wow,
Early stages.
God.
No sign of diffusion.
Think there could be a connection?
Only as the killer's potential motivation.
All right. Think I know enough.
Enlighten me, please, because I've still no notion what this is about. What the motive might have been.
공유하고 싶지 않은데. 이건 그냥 동기가 없는 것 같은데요?
No motive to speak of. Murder is mad, plain and simple.
Unfortunate. Such individuals are hardest to catch.
It's a lead worth following. Any idea what his name was?
Fabian Meyer.
Uh-oh.
And I'm Hubert Reich, the coroner. I've come to perform the autopsy, but I see you've done it for me, Joachim. As always, you interfere where you're neither needed nor wanted. Drag others into trouble in the process. Who is this?
A student. Lifelong learner. Got a couple
학생이래.
questions for you.
Very
평생
well,
학습.
speak. But be quick. Reverend Nathaniel has come by for an inspection. He'll be here shortly.
You old friends?
옷이 똑같은데
Hubert taught me
구면이겠지.
the rudiments of medicine. Long ago.
And not very well. You've still not mastered certain basic principles. For example, that a doctor's role is to treat the ill, not save the world.
You've not changed a bit.
A compliment?
No, a statement of fact. 30 years, and you've not changed a bit.
Woodcarver's body. Where was it found? It's important.
Plan to investigate? Exciting. He died in his workshop south of the market square, just beside the gate to Far Corners. That poor Trebirates was attacked there. City's abuzz about it. But the woodcarver, Eustace the corpse collector, brought us the body. You should speak to him. Saw him just around the corner near... Oh, greetings, your reverence.
Who are these people?
뭐야, 사제가 이렇게
I believe I
생겼어요?
made it clear no one's to be allowed in under any circumstances.
You did, but they're friends of the deceased. Here to collect the body.
Out of the question. Show them out at once.
수상한데?
As your reverence wishes. Gentlemen, follow me. You shall leave via another route.
Why'd you cover for us?
I was covering my own arse. If Reverend Nathaniel had learned someone had entered the morgue, then cut open a corpse without his permission, I'd be in deep trouble. But you didn't give that a thought, did you, Joachim? As ever. Well, while I don't approve of your willfulness, I also wish to see this murderer hang. So,
오,
should I learn
협조적으로
anything new related to this
나와주시는구만.
case, I will let you know.
Thank you.
Thank you. 네, 안녕하세요.
Nathaniel. Who is he?
A scoundrel. A rogue. Like every man who wears the robes of the eternal fire.
Most are scoundrels before they ever put on the robes.
True in his case as well. Before he donned the frock,
헐,
Nathaniel was a
고문자였다고?
torturer. Delighted especially
야, 범인은
in
쟤
torturing
아니야?
women. Later, hierarch
아,
Hemmelfarth
목소리가
appointed him to
달달하다고요?
oversee the
아니, 이
morgue.
목소리가
He deals with the temple
달달하다고요?
guard, supervises cremations,
당황.
conducts funeral masses in the
감사합니다.
temple on the Isle, and so forth.
Dream job.
Dream job.
Might have told me you know the coroner. We could have skipped the trip through the
시죠.
sewers.
I know him, thus I avoid him. I've said enough on the subject.
Don't aim to press you.
Thank you. I've nothing to hide. It's just an old wound, unhealed as yet. What will you do now?
Plenty of leads. Woodcarver's workshop, the corpse collector who found him, alley where Priscilla was attacked. Got work to do.
야, 쟤 화살 언제 빼요? 손에 있는
The
거?
hospital. I must return there.
그래.
But I shall keep my
손에
fingers
박힌
crossed.
화살 빼.
And I'll keep my eye on you.
이거요? 사양 높긴 높죠.
Got a piece like a racehorse.
일단 장의사를 찾아봅시다.
Bloody bandits!
와, 이거 뭐야
Go
이거?
out in the streets no more.
At least before they didn't use
You Eustace, the corpse collector?
Aye? How'd you know?
Fourth sense, I think it is. You bring Fabian Meyer's body to the morgue.
Fabian. Oh, yeah, I remember. No ice, no art, one of them, right? No purse neither, as I recall.
One of them? So there have been other bodies like that?
Sure have. Beggars, street urchins, and street walkers. One wench so portly, I had to cut her into pieces to fit her in me wheelbarrow. Slippery sow, they called her, on account of her.
Some things are best left unsaid. What happened to the pieces?
What do you mean? Reverend Nathaniel ordered them burned. Every last one. Oh, shame that was.
Shame? Why? Actually, never mind. Another thing that's best left unsaid. You searched Fabian's body?
Well, I cast an eye in his pockets, made sure nothing went to waste.
I call a spade a spade. You rob corpses.
And I call a prick a prick. It's none of your fucking concern.
아니.
What, you tax collector? Piss off, mute.
아, 뭐, 야.
Talk.
돈
What did
내놔.
you find on him?
I had you wish. Triflings, baubles, gloss-beaded ring, handful of coins, and a letter. Look, vellum, quality parchment that. I'll wipe off the writing and sell it as new.
That's human skin.
어? 사람 가죽?
Priscilla. Next victim's name. If you'd given this to the right person, she might not have been hurt.
What the fuck do I care what happens to some Priscilla? We short of wenches in this town.
한 대 맞아야겠네.
Oi, fucking hell! What was that for?
For everything.
Oh, Lydica! What happened here? Just lost this time.
Why?
여자요? 지금 치료받고 있어요.
I've had enough of living.
근데
Save me. How you go with this?
정말 살아나도 제대로 다닐 수 있을진. 이쪽 길이 아닌가 본데?
Anyone home?
Begun, or I'll sick me hounds on you. Molly, Striga, come!
Relax. I'm here about Fabian Meyer. Looking for his killer.
That's altogether different.
왜냐하면 여기 마법사는
Sit, you stupid
다
must lie down.
도망쳤거든요.
Morning. Slowly now, listen.
북부 사람들은 이제 마법사 싫어해요. 다 이터널 파이어라는 종교에서도 마법사 다 처형시키려고 하고.
Charming as beasts go.
You daft? Even I'm scared of them. But better back and dog than an evil man at your door.
치료해줄
Got
마법사가
someone
없어.
particular in mind?
Sure as shite. Bugger who did Fabian in. Soon as they'd hauled his corpse off, I run to a mate who raises fighting dogs. Bought these 2 mutts. Cost me a chunk of change. But I sleep sound at least.
So who might you be?
The Stiff's brother. Gus is the name. We ran a workshop together. Meyer and Meyer.
What'll it be now? Just mire?
Name it. I'll be closing it down now. As soon as I find a buyer for this shack, I'll head on to Mahakam. Be near my family or what's left of it. So, what do you want to know? What can I tell you about Fabian?
Tell me what you know about the murder, in order, in detail.
아 힐링 마법
It was
같은
like
것도
this.
있긴 있어요.
Had some work in Oxenford, and I was coming home. Saw a plume of smoke rising over the city. Thought to myself, blast it, gonna miss him burn another hag. But the smoke wasn't coming from Hierarch Square. It was coming from here. See the soot stains? That's where they burned our sculptures. Folk gathered round the blaze and found Fabian here beside it. They'd already loaded him on the cart by the time I arrived.
Talk to your neighbors. They see anything suspicious beforehand? Hear anything?
Claim not to. But even if they had, they'd not have helped. In Novigrad, folk give bleating orphans in the street a wide berth so as not to stain their poor lanes. They care about some dwarf.
Your brother have any enemies? Anyone dislike him? Threaten him, maybe?
'Twas Fabian who threatened this one last. Well, you were a good dwarf, craftsman like no other. But you were an incorrigible whoremonger as well. Whenever we put a bit of coin aside, I'd say, let's buy some tools, quality timber. No, he grabbed the purse and head out whoring. Took to following one in particular. He'd say, "'Tis all your fault, dirty bitch, human dish rag," and other obscenities. Don't rightly know what that was about. Maybe he was in love with her.
Know where I can find her? This dish rag?
City cemetery. She died a few days back, quietly in her sleep. Her pont said a fever took her.
Fine, we've talked enough. Need to look around.
Be my guest. Just beware of the dogs.
Statues of the old gods. Nothing but women. Shapely ones, bloodstains.
That's where Fabian lay when they found him.
Someone dragged something across the floor. Or dragged it from one wall to the other, repeatedly. Mind if I go inside the workshop?
I've not even peeked inside since they found Fabian. But I'll open it for you if you want.
뒤에 뭐야 이거? 이터널 파이어 같은데 이거. 저요? 네. 딱히
Furniture got
맵은
knocked
없어요.
over. This looks like it was kicked. More bloodstains, but not near enough to say he bled to death. Unless formaldehyde. Doubt Fabian used it.
프리실라요? 아니요, 죽진 않았어요. 공격당해가지고. 아직 안 죽었어요. 근데 회복돼도
Eyes, humanoid, completely rotten. Nothing here.
목소리가 돌아올 가망이. 아, 좀 비켜봐. 아, 맞다. 식도가 다 염산에 지져졌대요.
Oi, Witcher! Coroner wants to see you. Been another victim. Told me to say the main door will be open for you. You're to come as soon as you can.
Awful pale.
Hey, handsome.
Oh, you scared?
오,
A brazier. This time of
Oh.
year?
Grab it!
I know that smell.
그래,
How am I
Formaldehyde.
to know? Watch him, see what he does.
뭐야?
Gotta get around him! Son of a whore.
깜짝이야.
Franklin. That's it.
아,
Missy. Kill him.
Think you got me too, huh? Up your ass, deviant! Hoes can fight back!
Calm down, I'm not gonna hurt
뭐 하는
you.
거야?
What are you doing here?
Getting vengeance. Well, why are you staring? Have you not heard killers always return to the scene of their crime?
아, 나
Me and
범죄자
my brothers are
아닌데요.
waiting here to give him a warm welcome. For Priscilla. Almost did her in, the whole son.
I know. Here to look for clues and find anyone who might know something.
Fear I can't help you much. But I can tell you what I know.
You and Priscilla friends?
Friends? Nah. But she saw more than a stupid whore in me. Treated me with respect. It mattered. I was looking to give up whoring. Pick up a decent trade. But none would take me. Not as a washerwoman, nor a servant, nor a cook. Felt like a leper, I did. But Priscilla, she was different. Agreed to put me in her play, you see? Lots of the other actors, they were afraid on account of her jesting about the eternal fire. Whistling Wendy on stage, can you imagine it? Well, dream's gone now. I'm back to working street corners.
Sorry to hear that.
You could do worse as work goes. Or so I tell myself.
Priscilla wasn't the sole victim. You aware of that?
Oh, dearie. Course I was. This didn't start yesterday. Others have died like this before. Beggars, street girls, orphans. But who'd have a drama concern about them? Human rubbish. It's what the guards call us.
Recall any names?
They didn't have proper ones. Baldy, curly, buns. That's what folk called them. No friends, no families. Their bodies were burned long ago.
Take care now. I gotta look around some more. Appreciate it if you didn't disturb me.
Naturally, we'll stand aside, behave. But do tell us if you find anything else here.
Oh, my head's ringing. Got a problem.
A brazier. This time of year? Man's footprint. The murderer's, maybe. Hume laid on his heel. Priscilla's took a step back.
이터널 파이어인데 이거 100%. 설교가 이렇게 아직도 있는 거 보면.
Murderer fled before the guards arrived. Ran this way. Trail ends here. Strange.
Okay.
Even I couldn't jump this wall.
날았나?
There are mass
Giddy up.
droppings in this bread. Droppings, my eye. Those are raisins. So why do they smell like shit?
Whoa there, Roach. Move it!
Barbarian.
Welcome, Master Witcher.
Geralt, right? I'm glad you're here. Held off on the autopsy till you arrived.
Nice of you, especially given you didn't seem pleased about my previous visit.
Because you came unannounced and in unfortunate company. I also had Reverend Nathaniel to contend with. Our spiritual caretaker has left the city on some important matter, and I know who you are, what drives you. I'm more than happy to aid your investigation.
By the way, you and Von Gratz don't exactly get along. Why is that?
I had him sent to prison.
헐?
You see, Joachim led the student protests in 1242, a senseless and brutal revolt. People were dying, Witcher. Those who rejected liberty, equality, and fraternity would be found in the gutter come morning. their throats slit from ear to ear with surgical precision. Joachim had been my favorite student, but alas, I had to do something. So I reported him. Then I left the university and found work in the morgue, where none care about my past. Whereas Joachim, oh, fate's ironies. Years later, he was appointed head of the very ward I had founded.
How old's von Graz? 50? 60?
53, I believe. Why do you ask?
You look a little young to have been his teacher.
Not surprising. For years, I've lived in the cold and dark, breathing the vapors
헐,
of
수명이
embalming
연장된다고?
fluid. In short, working with corpses extends one's life. Amusing, is it not?
Who's the victim this time?
Joris Aquinas, a lecturer in theology at Oxenfurt Academy. Found this morning at his home on a catafalque made of his books.
Any titles in particular?
It seems all the tomes dealt with the eternal fire. Treatises critical of the faith's doctrines.
Yeah, mortal sin in Novigrad. Not fond of Nathaniel?
Very few people are. He's cruel and capricious. He stormed in here once, grabbed a scalpel I was sterilizing over a burner, sliced my back with it to the bone, because I had forgotten to lock the storeroom. Hard to be fond of someone like that, wouldn't you agree?
Let's start.
Gladly. The wounds conform to the killer's modus operandi. The victim was bound and forced to drink formaldehyde. Next, the killer removed the eyes, placed burning coals in the sockets, then opened the rib cage and... What's this? A parchment made of human skin.
A message from the murderer. The name of his next victim. Patricia Vegelbud.
Do you know her?
Yes. Even went to her estate once with... Gotta find her, now.
Till next time, Master.
Go, go. Slower.
You see in the dark, and you're stuck. What is it, grey boy, looking for adventure?
그쵸.
Help! Save me! I'm dying of poverty.
잠깐만요. 아, 뭐 좀 카톡이 와서.
Slow now. Whoa.
You go. It's always been crooked.
다 이터널 파이어 반대자들이고.
I trusted a woman once, long ago. I was willing to give me right hand for her.
Show us what you bring.
Time
up the
enough to feed.
Have a hard time finding any work here, Witcher.
So buckwheat millet, they said. It'll pay off, they said.
From now on, assume your every move's observed. Trouble?
독이요? 아, 괜찮아요. 상약 먹은 거 죽지 않아요. 저 어차피 약쟁이 위쳐기 때문에 스킬을 연금술 쪽으로 찍어서 안 죽음. 방송하는 사람들 중에 약쟁이 위쳐하는 사람 몇 없을걸요? 실제로 플레이하는 사람들도 약쟁이 위쳐 잘 안 할걸?